Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well today. Back in the car again. I just wanted to make a video about someone asked me who's thinking of becoming a coach, what do you hear from people that is really missing in this community and that I could possibly bring in it? And I want to see if you guys agree with me on this. I mean, I know there's probably multiple things, but this is something that comes up pretty regularly when I talk to people, especially lately. So I want to mention that I am coaching again Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays from 12 to 5 p.m. Mountain Time. So I'll put a link to my booking calendar in the description of this video, as well as a link to my website if you want to check that out. So my answer to this person's question was, people will often say to me or ask me, "Hey Melissa, when are you going to start a group?" And I'll say, "Well, what do you mean by that?" And they'll say, "Well, I just need other people that I can talk to. I need healing buddies. I need to be in some type of group setting or feel like I have a community." And they'll say, the forums kind of provide that, but it's not the same as face-to-face interaction, or they'll find that the forums are just way too toxic, and so they don't want to be finding support there. And I know that some other coaches run groups, and so I've mentioned that in response to people saying that that's something that's needed in the community. But they'll say, "Well, no, I mean more something more structured." So people will tell me, I tried to go to NA, so or sorry, I can't even remember what the N stands for now. Narcotics or Alcoholics Anonymous, AA. And they'll say, "Well, I didn't really fit in. It wasn't, it was good in some senses. Maybe they found some community in that. Maybe they were able to connect to other people, a sponsor, whatever. But the content or what was discussed, or maybe even the steps themselves, just weren't quite the right fit." And so I'm wondering what you guys would think about something like this. Do you think this would be necessary in our community? And I know that what we're going through is very complex, but so is addiction. And I know that what we're going through is very misunderstood. There's so many layers to what we're going through. So I had asked actually one of my clients the 12 steps from AA because I couldn't remember them myself, even though I've been in AA. It's been a long time because the citalopram made me essentially addicted to alcohol. And I was like, okay, well, some of those fit, but some of them really just aren't quite right, because it's not the same as chasing a high or wanting to get a buzz or drunk. It's very different from that, but some of it is relevant. And so what do you guys think about this? If there was a group setting that was very structured, and it maybe would have steps, it maybe wouldn't have steps, but it would be essentially how to navigate through this journey. And so maybe it would be 12 steps where each week you would cover a different step, and it would be a different aspect of what we go through in this journey. So I could or someone else could compile a list of the 12 most painful parts of this process or most relevant parts of this process that people just can't connect with others about in their real lives or in something like AA or NA, and then visit those topics every week and cover them. So it would be structured. You could potentially have a sponsor, which if you've ever been part of AA or anything like that, you get a sponsor, you get someone who's ahead of you in the journey and can help you. You can call, you can reach out to them whenever you're struggling and want to reach out for a drink. So again, this part of it would be slightly different because we're not, chasing benzos. We're just dependent on them and withdrawing from them in a different way. It's got different aspects to it. But you would connect to someone who's further along in the journey, or maybe even at the same point in the journey. I don't know exactly how that would look, that you could reach out to regularly. I'm thinking that someone ahead of you in the journey would be more helpful, because then they can sort of help guide you. But it's different because usually when you have a sponsor in AA, because I had a sponsor at one point, they are sober for a lot longer than you are, and they're further along in the recovery. And so they can help you, especially if you're just fresh into the program, navigate it and cope with the enormity of trying to get sober. And so it would be something like that, because I know that there are huge benefits to other people, connecting with other people in this community, because there's such a low level of understanding outside this community about what we experience, hence the gaslighting and the isolation. And I know a lot of people feel very alone in this. And so I, as a coach, have connected several people to each other in like a one-on-one setting outside of my calls with them. And I've gotten feedback that that's been helpful. And I've shared many times on this channel about how my own support group was so incredibly helpful and integral to me starting to recover, because I just needed that constant sort of access to people who could help navigate me through this, even though they were all in the same, we were all like 6 months off or under. So we were all in the same part of the journey, which was helpful in some ways. But we also had one person who was healed, who would come on and sort of mentor us and talk us down if we were all bad at the same time, which happened quite often, actually. And so that was also really helpful. So just different dynamics. And it would be maybe structured like that, where you would be paired with someone or could find one other person in the group that could be like your buddy or I don't know if you'd call it a sponsor, and I don't know exactly how that would work. But just kind of thoughts swirling around in my brain and conversations that I've had. What do you guys think about this? And if you've been in any of the other coaches group settings, what would you say is the most helpful and what would you say is missing? Because that type of information is helpful for me to have if I'm thinking about starting something like this. So I'd love your feedback. I know this video is pretty short, but because I'm not as connected as I used to be. I mean, I am in the sense that I talk to people every day, but I'm not on the forums or actively in groups like I used to be. So I don't know if this is potentially relevant or if more exists out there that I'm unaware of. So let me know. And I hope you all are doing okay, and I'll see you next time. Bye.